course, the next speaker really doesn't need much introduction. He is the man of LIBT, and we are honored for his presence this afternoon. He finished advanced level mathematics at Royal College Colombo and bachelor's in computer science at South Arkansas University and bachelor's in business and management at Northumbria University. He earned his MBA in Australian Institute of Business and postgraduate diploma in international business law at LIBT. He has a solid track record as an auditor, lecturer, manager, and consultant in the IT industry. Currently, he is an honorary director of the Tarunyata Heta, or Aspiring Youth Sri Lanka, CEO of United Management and Consulting Group, non-executive director of the Beta Park Bhutan, and of course, the CEO of the London Institute of Business and Technology. Let us all welcome Sesiri Pathirane.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron, for that warm introduction. Thank you very much. It's definitely an honor to be here. I'm looking at the live stream as well, and there are a lot of live viewers as well. So it's wonderful, and kudos to our Philippines team, especially John and Ralph, and you guys have done an amazing job organizing these events. And of course, Try PH Media, thank you guys. I mean, you guys have done a phenomenal job as well. So with that said, I think the conversation today is basically around how this post-COVID world is going to look like, after this pandemic is over. And of course, we all have different views, and different players in the market are saying different things. But I like to kind of start this conversation from a standpoint of paradigm shifts. And what I mean by that is in the technology scene that we have seen, I mainly see basically 4 different paradigm shifts. But then again, what is a paradigm shift? What I mean by a paradigm shift here is that if something changes the human behavior fundamentally, we call that a paradigm shift. So, for an example, the first paradigm shift in the 60s, when the personal computers came in, we all know, we had typewriters and whatnot, and all of that changed, and a lot of people lost jobs, and obviously a whole new vertical of jobs came into play. Right, that was in the 60s and the 70s, and then mid 90s or early 90s, internet came in, and what happened when internet came in? Commerce became e-commerce, and websites came up, right? Snail mail became emails. So what happened was it created a whole new vertical of jobs again, right? And a whole lot of people have actually lost jobs as well. Then the third paradigm shift that I see is around 2006, 2007. And what happened during that time? Mobile devices came into play. And the computer, the entire computer experience that you had basically was shifted into a mobile device. And what happened then, the e-commerce, the traditional e-commerce that we know, became social commerce, and then mobile commerce, m-commerce, right? And again, a lot of things happen around that. And a lot of different types of jobs were basically created around that paradigm shift. And what I sincerely believe is that we are living through what I call the 4th paradigm shift. This is basically happening around augmented reality, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrencies, and whatnot. And we are basically living through that, and we are seeing self-driving vehicles. We are seeing a lot of narrow AI-driven systems like Google speakers and whatnot, and Siri, Apple Siri. So we are running into this environment or this new world where a lot of things are going to be automated. A lot of things are going to be changing over the next few years. And what I sincerely believe is that a lot of the companies and all the corporates have fundamentally have not really understood this. And we deal with LIBT, we deal with a lot of corporate entities training various different kinds of employees. And what we are seeing is that nobody gets it. Nobody has totally understood, where the world is heading. So what happens out of that is that there's obviously a skills mismatch, right? And a lot of jobs are going to change, and it's inevitable that we have to understand that. And so this is when us as academic institutes, educational institutes, have a bigger role to play in this equation. We need to ensure that this is communicated to the companies and also the employees properly, and we prepare them to take on the different kinds of challenges that are coming up over the next few years. So we have a responsibility in that sense. And it is also important to understand that the required set of skills are going to change. And some of these specific skills are going to end up becoming generic skills. So what I mean by that is, now I'll give you an example. So take the job title, the job role of a typist, right? I mean, if you guys remember back in the 80s, there was a role by the name the typist, right? The typist job was to basically, press those buttons and, draft letters. I mean, that was the typist job. And now when you go for an interview now, nobody really asks, whether you can type anymore, right? And so these specific skills are going to end up becoming generic skills, and that is extremely important to understand. So when we look at any digital transformation that needs to happen, I mean, it can be in a country or a organization. We're mainly looking at three different pillars: people, process, and the technologies, right? And what we need to understand is that the people pillar in this equation is extremely, extremely important. And if you start digital transformations with any other pillar, what happens is it's going to break down. Any company that started digital transformation efforts with either processes or technology has failed. Fundamentally, it has failed. And so you always have to ensure that people are ready in any kind of a digital transformation effort. So I think I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I think the Q&A session would be very interesting, in my opinion. So what I would do is I'll be actively involved in the Q&A session. So over to you, Rome, to get the next speaker. We'll take a lot of questions during the Q&A session.